Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to AriesEDC. Well, it's that time again. I do this, I feel like, every year. I touch base with all of my designs, and I think it's time to do a quick update. Can you guys help? This is kind of a mess. Alright guys, this is always hard for me because I don't know where to start and I don't know where to go and I don't know how to group them together, and it's gotten to the point where there's so many designs that I can't like fit them all on one screen. But we're going to start here. Why am I going to start here? Because this was what started all of it. The obsession. This is the design that started all of it. And sometimes on this journey of making and doing everything, there comes a time where I have to kind of let go of a design too. And I think during this process, there's a handful of designs that I might be pulling from options to do on the books. And maybe I can just do a one-off here or there. This might be the one that did it all for me as far as getting me into it, but I haven't made an obsession in probably over a year. I have not made an obsession. Nobody has asked for an obsession. And although this was the one that kind of started it all, it's not very popular. So it's not that I'm never going to make an obsession ever again, but it's just not something that seems to be very popular. So this is going to give me an opportunity to go back and look at the books and all the options for the books and start just taking things off. That doesn't mean they're never off the table, because they're always on the table. It's always something that I can do, but I think it's something that I'm gonna kind of retire a little bit at this point, because although I like the design, it's just not something that I feel like is very popular, and there's a whole backstory behind this which I really won't want to get into in this video. So we have the obsession. Then I made an obsession harpoon. So I did the obsession shape, and I did a little harpoon, and I've only made a handful of those. And then, because I'm a nutball, I did the mini obsession, which is just the small version of the obsession. And I've only made like 3 of these, and my daughter and my mother-in-law have 2 of them. So the other one just kind of is floating out there. It has a pink handle, and every once in a while the owner will post a picture on Instagram. But I think these 3 I'm kind of done with as far as the books options. So when you get on the books, I give you a form, yada yada, and it gives you a list of all the knives that you can pull from. But I think we're going to take these off of the list, and there might be a handful of other ones I'm going to as well. So this is the Obsession series. All right, next up I have these. These are all the Bloom series, I guess we can call them that. So we have the Bloom. The Bloom obviously is very popular now. This is what a custom Bloom might give you an idea of the size of it and what it's going to look like. And of course, if you're following the channel and you're following along, you know that the Bloom now is also made by Kubi. It's also contracted with me by Kubi. They have my maker's mark on it, which is outstanding. But it all started off as this piece of wood, and now it has turned into all of that. So we have the Bloom. You have the Bloom harpoon. So I added a little harpoon onto the Bloom, which gives it just a little bit of a different look. The Bloom Cliff, so basically I turned the Bloom into kind of a Warncliffe style. That's the one going around to the pass around groups right now, and it's another cool option. And then the smallest version of it is the pedal. So you have the pedal and the Bloom. Basically the pedal is just kind of a smaller version of the Bloom. So you have the Bloom, and then you have the pedal, so it's a little bit smaller. And of course, because everybody likes things a little bit bigger, you have the Bloom, and then you have the Bloom XL, which is a much larger version of the Bloom. So you have those 3 or 4. Those 4. 5. Wow. I can't count. 5. All right, next up is kind of the Rockhopper series. So we have our Rockhopper. You guys know Rockhopper is one of my favorites. I have my Rockhopper here. This is the Damascus Rockhopper, which every once in a while I will show off. So that is what an actual Rockhopper looks like. So you have the Rockhopper. You have the Rockhopper XL, which obviously is newer and something I'm in the middle of doing a lot of right now. And then there's the Puffin. I tried to take the Rockhopper format and just try to stretch it out, make something a little bit different, kind of almost a spay type blade. And I haven't made a Puffin in over, it's been over a year, well over a year. And nobody seems to want a Puffin, or nobody seems very interested in a Puffin. So this is going to be another one that I'm going to take off the table as far as options from the books. That doesn't mean I'm ever going to make another one, but it's just not something that seems to be very popular. So I think the Puffin will kind of take a little bit of a back seat. But the Rockhopper is very popular. Rockhopper XL seems to be very popular. And soon there will be a Kubi version of the Rockhopper. It's going to be a little different than this, but it will still be really, really cool. All right, next up are kind of the Thorn versions. So I'm just going to do this because the handle shapes are a little bit the same. So first, we're going to talk about the Thorn. Very unique flat back kind of design that I kind of just threw together. Thought it would be cool, and it's an excellent little EDC. I love the Thorn. It's such a cool design, and also one that Kubi wants to do. So there'll be a Kubi Thorn coming up as well. So you got the Kubi Thorn. Then I went ahead and did the spike, and this is the 4-finger spike. I did have a 3-finger, but everybody was clamoring for the 4, and it kind of works. It kind of works with that blade shape, so we have the 4-finger spike. So you got the Thorn, the Fike. Just recently I did the Thistle. So the Thistle was one that I had in the book to try a long time, and I finally got an opportunity to do the very first Thistle, and it came out pretty stinking cool. So I really like how that came out, and that has now been added to the books. Why is my hand shaking? Wow. Stop at the grinder, Scott. So we got the Thistle now in this family. We also have the Hawk, which is a newer design that I just did this year. So it's a 2025 year design. I don't know why my hand's shaking so bad, but we got the Hawk. So that one is this model right here. So that one came out really nice. And this is the Bush Hawk. I know I had the B Bowie on there. That was before we came up with the name, but now this has an official name of the Bush Hawk. So we have the Bush Hawk, the Hawk, the Thistle, the Thorn, and the Spike. So really, really cool options. All right, next up are some collaboration designs that I have worked on with other people. So I have 5 designs that I have come up with other people. That means they have either wanted me to collaborate with a design, or they had a full fleshed out design that they wanted me to do. Like in the case of the Yokdo. My buddy Tim over at Yokdo Leather Wallets or Leatherworks, he is in Germany, and he basically sent me this design, and he sent me some acrylic blanks to use. He also sent me the scales to work with and everything else. So he sent me a full fleshed out design, and I just basically put that design into steel and started making the Yokdos. Really, really cool knife. I haven't made them in about a year or so. I haven't made any Yokdos, but I really like the design, and I'm not going to put this one to bed just yet. I just don't think the time is right for it. But I do want to bring back the Yokdos and start doing another run of these, because it is a very, very cool design that I really appreciate. So I think it's an excellent little EDC fixed blade, and would be cool. So the Yokto is one of them. And then the Tabiko, which was helped designed by our friend, your friend, Tim B. He sent me some idea designs and some things, and we went back and forth and came up with this design. A really cool blade shape. I don't know what you want to call that. You can say whatever you want, but it's cool. That's what I know. Has this nice tall blade, lends itself really well for EDCing. You can really get up here on the tip. The handle is a nice size grippy handle. The little harpoon, or that little dip right there, right where your thumb needs to be, and it ends up being a really, really cool blade. The Flamingo was one of the first ones I did. Stacy Bolster Blades reached out, and she was kind of throwing some ideas back and forth of what she wanted, and she wanted basically a sheep's foot harpoon design. And we went back and forth for quite some time, and I kind of threw this at her, and she said, yeah, that I like that. And so we went forth, and now we have the Flamingo. So you have this nice kind of sheep's foot, kind of front on there, and then your thumb gets right on the harpoon of that. So it's kind of really cool. It has the bloom handle shape on it, so I already know it's going to be comfortable in the hand. I've made a handful of Flamingos, but I can't take that off the table because it is a collaboration project. So it's a really cool design. Then we have the Torcido, helped designed by Cheeto Bandito. He helped design this. This was a full-fledged design that he already sent me. All I had to do is put this into wood, and now I can remake the Torcido whenever I want. You get the full 4 handles. It has that nice kind of shilling kind of cutter blade on it. You get this nice dip where your thumb goes at the top, and it's a very unique shaped blade. Really, really cool, and he now has 2 of them, so the Torcido is cool. I have this sitting on the table. This is not really a design that I go to. This was just a one-off design, helped designed by Blade Walker, No Bull Reviews. He sent me an idea of what he wanted, and he even sent me some steel to do it off of, and this is kind of what we came up with, and we're calling it the Gadsden. Really, really unique design. Scares the heck out of me, the one that I made for him with that tip that's all stretched out. Once that thing was sharpened, I said, okay, yeah, that's scary. It is an extremely scary blade, and is super pointy and sharp. That is for sure. But I know he wanted the larger size of this, and maybe one day we'll make that happen when the time is right. All right, next up are my skeletonized models. We have a couple of these that were designed specifically to be skeletonized, and 2 of them I'm comfortable enough putting handles on. The other 2 will stay skeletonized. We started off with the naked column. So I've done a couple of naked columns. I really like the naked columns. The last time I did a drop of the naked columns, they didn't sell very well, which is kind of a bummer because I kind of like that blade shape. I put a hole up here. Actually, let me get mine. Hold on. Oh my goodness. All right, so it kind of looks like this. That's kind of what it looks like. That is what it looks like. You got the hole up at the front, you got the holes going through, and it's a fun little EDC blade, and it is designed to have no scales on it and be completely skeletonized. So that's the naked column. I have tried to put handles on it, and it's okay. It just doesn't lend itself well to it, so I'd try to stay away from it. And on the next group, you're going to see I've already kind of figured that out. Then you have the mini gargoyle, which is awesome. I would be open to putting handle scales on this in the right layout. But you have the mini gargoyle, which is also a skeletonized blade. Holes usually go through the handle, just kind of like the naked column is, and it turns into a really cool little EDC fixie. Next up I want to talk about is the creep. I just recently did a Damascus creep, and it's a cool little knife. This is one of the smallest ones that I do, and it's basically turns into kind of like a neck knife type deal that I end up doing with it. But it's a really cool little skeletonized blade. I'll put some holes in the handle. It's completely small, and it's a perfect little EDC fix blade or neck knife or whatever you want to do. It's a really cool opportunity. Next up is the largest of the skeletonized, which it was originally designed to be skeletonized, but the last couple gargoyles that I have done, this is the gargoyle, have had handle scales on it, and it turned out pretty stinking cool. So this could be skeletonized, or it could have scales on it. It's completely up to you. Plus, Pickled Steel is now in the works of making this into a folder. How? I don't know. They're working some crazy magic, but soon there will be a gargoyle folder in the works. So really cool. These are the skeletonized versions. All right, guys. So the next couple ones I want to talk to you about are kind of on their own. There's not like their own family. We have the Cardinal. I really love the Cardinal shape. It's based off of one of my favorite pocket knives that I have. And it just lends itself really good to a little EDC fixie. Usually this part right here hugs that ring finger. It is a 3-finger, and it hugs that ring finger really well. And once you get the lanyard on it, it will work really well for you. For a little 3D EDC fixie, it's perfect. And of course now we have the XL version, which of course takes care of that. And it's still a good size for EDCing. This is the Bud. So you have the Cardinal XL. This is the Bud. Really kind of fun blade. It's definitely not as popular, but I'm not ready to get rid of it or anything as an option. I still think it has its place in the lineup. It's a cool, tall blade, really good EDC for, and even if you're game, you got to work the game and do whatever when you're hunting. I'm not a hunter. I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about it. But I use knives in a very different way than most people probably. But I think this lends itself to EDC carry very well. And then this is the column. So you had the naked column, and this is kind of the regular column, which I redesigned just recently this year. And I kind of like the way that ended up coming out. It definitely has that nice tall sheep's foot type cleaverish blade. Again, I like to put the hole right here at the front of the blade. I don't know why. It's just an aesthetics thing for me. But it's a very cool blade. And I just redesigned it, so I'm not ready to let it go, even though it wasn't very popular when I dropped it on the Etsy store. It sat there for a little while. So again, not sure everybody likes that blade shape as much as I do. Next up is this knife. I don't want to take too long talking about it because it scares me. This is the Talon. And I've designed that. There's a whole story behind it. You have to go watch the video. But I have only made one. It is not part of the books. It will never be part of the books until I get more comfortable with making it. I've only done one, and I really wasn't very comfortable with how it came out and how I did with it. Even though some people say it looks really good, it was really a PIA to get it done, and I'm glad to have this in my hand, and there's a reason why I kept it and I didn't want to sell this thing. But the Talon is a model which I have, but is not something that is ready for the books or anything like that. All right, last up are 3 of my biggest options that are available. You have the pistol. Well, I have the full pistol, but it's just a pistol. Really cool design, harpoon shaped. You get your thumb right there behind the harpoon. The stigma is just a tad bit smaller, no harpoon, just straightforward. A buddy of mine wanted something to use for hunting, and I just kind of made that knife, designed that for him. And then you have the Crow, which was basically a cut off piece of steel that kind of had this blade shape in it, and I kind of went with it, and that's where the Crow came from. And this is the largest blade that I make. I just recently finished a Damascus version. This is not available for the books. This is just kind of a one-off custom if somebody asks for it, but it's going to take me a little bit longer. But these 2 are. So I hope that clears that up with everything. So that's about it, guys. That was a total of 32 designs that I have available for you guys. And I do it because I love it. I do it because I see something that speaks to me and I say, ooh, that would be cool as a fixed blade. And then I try to turn it into an offering, just like I did recently with the thistle. It started off as a drawing in this book right here, and then I turned it into an actual usable tool. So the thistle started off as just a little drawing based off of something in my head. Same with the hawk, although the hawk, I did get some help. Jim Miller, sent me some inspirational designs for me to work off of, and then I came up with the hawk. And this book is always going to be drawn in. I always have things in the works. I'm always doing things and always pushing to see what the next thing is. There's all kinds of stuff in here, and there's good versions and there's bad versions, and there's things that I like and things that I will never end up doing, or things that will never see the light of day. It's like, this is the Gadsden. This is the large version of the Gadsden, so you can see how much larger it actually is. It's actually bigger than the Crow. So you have the, well, I guess it's just as big as the Crow, but you have that stretched out handle, which one day I'll get with Blade Walker and we'll make that come to life. But there's always things in this book that are going on and other designs that I'm doing. But it was time for me to share those designs with you and share this one. This will probably be the next one that I work on. People have been asking me for a cool Tonto, and so I kind of have one drawn up. I've put it on my vote to my channel members and Patreons to see out of these which ones they liked the most, and everybody pretty much unanimously said 3. So one day, just like the thistle, I'll have to do this. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's going to be, but basically it is a thorn, but it's a Tonto thorn. So anyway, guys, I hope you liked it. Those are all of my designs, all of the knives that I make, and I wish I had every single one to show you guys, but I only have a handful. Yeah, it's cool though. So anyway, thank you very much. I hope this kind of clears some things up for you guys and maybe leads you in the right direction next time you get on the books to get a custom EDC fixed blade. Thank you guys so much. Please remember, subscribe, like, leave a comment, or not. Again, the choice is always yours.